let us all do we can to build a better future. Daniel, I'm going to let you in on a little secret, and it's time that you finally know the truth. Are you ready?
Ready.
Congress is filled with lying liars who like to lie. Did you know
What?
that? Yeah, I know.
That's something bad, says CNN's Don Lemon.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a good thing, but then I sort of also realized that having a good comeback would be antithetical to CNN.
Yeah, so CNN, they don't really have a leg to stand on. Literally, they have no shin to stand on.
There we go. It all comes back.
But So recently, this video caught my attention, and look, I found this to be refreshing because the thing is, I want to laugh at somebody who's an idiot. And there's this representative who got elected, George Santos. And I want to start off today's show on a high note because the thing is, in this day and age, with the Library of Alexandria, yes, that's what I call cell phones. The Library of Alexandria, you have no excuse not to look things up on your app, okay, or anything else. In this day and age of smartphones, the internet, and the Wayback Internet, also known as the Wayback Machine, if you are truly stupid and running for office and you're going to lie, people can look things up. People can fact check. Now, of course, in this system, we see many of these politicians who are defended by corporate media. Take, for example, Joe Biden. You have Barack Obama. And yes, even in the larger corporate conservative media outlets, including Fox News. But in this rarity, it's a clip from Fox News where you see even, Fox News and other conservative media outlets defend Republican politicians. But let's be very clear here. In a two-party system, we have many politicians that have successfully lied their way to the top. But in this one rare moment, we're seeing in which a politician's lie is falling apart firsthand. Now, I wish that this was the exception and not the rule, but former Representative Tulsi Gabbard was co-hosting, or not co-hosting, but hosting the show, Tucker Carlson's show, yesterday. And this is like the chef's kiss of what I want to see all media do. Now, you only see this on independent media, but Representative-elect George Santos is a special kind of stupid. Now, here's the thing. Maybe I'm being too mean to him here, Daniel, and maybe I'm being too mean to him here, audience. And you know what, Georgie? I invite you to be on our show. In fact, you'd probably be the first Republican to be on our show ever. But honestly,
have we not interviewed a Republican before? That blows my mind.
No, we really haven't. I've reached out, Dan. You know this firsthand. I
just, in my mind, I thought we must have gotten at least one or two interviews.
I guess when we have like random meetups with, when we were covering protests, maybe Republican.
Yeah, I guess technically as an accident, we probably have.
Yeah, but as like for someone running for office, then the answer is no.
Fascinating.
The answer is no. Libertarians we've talked to, Greens, Socialists, Communists, even Democrats and progressive Democrats. Never once a Republican. He might break new grounds. But then again, too, the way he just utterly embarrasses himself, it's quite clear to me, and it should be clear to all of you, that you could tell a well-constructed lie, but all lies do fall apart. Now, we all know majority of our politicians are professional liars. But I want to pull up this video here of Tulsi. Well, she doesn't really have to lift a finger, but I just found this interesting, and I want to laugh. I want to laugh right now. I want to smile.
A permanent Washington has created a culture where it's acceptable to lie to further your own interests.
By the way, can you pause it?
Hot, I should know.
Yep.
Looks like Tucker got some work done.
Dan, don't be mean.
I'm sorry.
In Congress for 8 years. But even when these politicians do get caught, people just shrug their shoulders and move on. No big deal, no consequences. A few examples. Dick Blumenthal lied about his military service. And of course, Elizabeth Warren, she lied about having Native American heritage. So no one should be surprised that the American people don't trust these politicians. They've got no faith that those in Washington are actually working for the people when they're so clearly working for themselves. Now, there are new accusations that George Santos, who was just elected to represent New York in Congress in this past election, has actually been lying extensively.
Wait, pause it. That picture of George Santos makes me think that he'll always respond if you say, "Who's a good boy?"
Oh, Dan. Well, but it gets hilarious because this is wait till you find out about his so-called Jewish heritage.
Now, he
Oh,
admits
this will be
to some of
interesting.
these deceptions. For example, Santos acknowledges that he, quote, embellished his resume by saying that he graduated from Baruch College, but he didn't. Santos has also admitted he never actually worked for Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, even though his website suggested that he did. Additionally, Santos once called himself a proud Jew. But in an interview with the New York Post, Santos now says, quote, I am Catholic because I learned my maternal family had a Jewish background. I said I was Jew-ish.
That's not how it works.
There are other accusations, but now we have the opportunity to hear directly from George Santos himself. This is his very first TV interview since these accusations surfaced. George Santos joins us now. Congressman-elect Santos, thank you for joining us today.
Okay.
First,
Okay, I have to ask everyone in chat. I think that looking at this guy now, the actual video, type 1 if he will always respond to the words "good boy," and 2 if he won't. Look at him.
Well, here's the thing. And
He
Danny,
looks both scared and smug at the same time.
oh, because he knows his whole ass is in front of the American people, and the thing is, he literally falls apart in this entire interview. Telling the truth is an anathema to him, and there's only one true anathema out there, and that's the emperor, of course. But this guy cannot tell the truth to save his life.
First question I really want to ask you, now that all of this has been revealed, is what does the word integrity mean to you?
Well, Tulsi, thank you for having me. To answer your question.
He should have just said, you know what? I'm a liar. I'm sorry. Trust me on it, folks. It gets better as time goes on.
Integrity is very important.
Look at his
like I said to the New York Post, embellishing
what does it mean, though? What does it mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because the meaning of the word actually matters in practice.
Of course, it means to carry yourself in an honorable way. And I made a mistake. And I think humans are flawed, and we all make mistakes, Tulsi. I think we can all look at ourselves in the mirror and admit that once in our life we made a mistake. I'm having to admit this in national television for the whole country to see. And I have the courage to do so because I believe that in order to move past this and move forward and be an effective member of Congress, I have to face my mistakes, and I'm facing them. The reality is that I remain committed to doing everything I set forward in my campaign. I'm not a fraud. I'm not a fake. I didn't materialize.
By the way, pause it.
I worked damn hard.
Oh, he worked damn hard.
No, you're in a good position when your active defense is, I'm not a fraud. I'm not a fake.
Well, let's be very clear here. This guy lied about his work experience, the jobs that he's had, the colleges that he went to, and he also lied about being Jewish. He lied about his entire background.
Yeah. By the way, did that thing where he quoted the Jewish part? He said, I meant I'm Jew-ish. Isn't it like not? Never mind. It's so dumb. I don't even want to get into it.
Well, here's what's funny. It's like, okay, you're gonna say that you're Jewish, right? Jewish. Well, guess what? The human experience is filled with many wonders and joys, and many of our ancestral backgrounds. I think a lot of us would be surprised, like, hey, where we come from, who we are, But I'll never use that DNA and ancestry.com because they'll take your private information. Don't do that. But seriously, like, even if I were to look back, because I know with my heritage, yes, I identify as Italian, but guess what? In my bloodline, there's also Polish, English, Greek. But the thing is, you just can't. Even if you find out that somewhere down your line, if you're not practicing, if you're Catholic, then you just can't say like, hey, I'm Jew. And ish. That's a straight up freaking lie, because he was using that in campaign speeches. He was lying about where he went to college. He was lying about his job experiences. And the thing is, there's a thing called the Wayback Machine, the Library of Alexandria, that can fact check that for you. This is a rarity, folks, of what it looks like to see a politician squirm.
Yeah, it's like the next thing he's gonna go, actually, my name is also George Soros. I'm actually not whatever he is. I'm actually this is just face paint. I'm actually very Caucasian.
Yeah. But seriously, don't use those DNA sites. They will take your private information, folks.
To get where I got my entire life. Life wasn't easy. It didn't start off easy. As I've said it many, many times, I come from abject poverty. I made some mistakes and I own up to them. And now I want to put this past me so I can deliver for the American people.
The thing is, Congressman-elect, integrity means, yes, carrying yourself with honor, but it means telling the truth, being a person of integrity. And if I were one of those in New York's 3rd district right now that the election is over, and I'm finding out all of these lies that you've told, not just one little lie or one little embellishment, these are blatant lies. My question is, do you have no shame? Do you have no shame in the people who are now you're asking to trust you to go and be their voice for them, their families, and their kids in Washington?
Tulsi, I can say the same thing about the Democrats and the party. Look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden's been lying to the American people for 40 years. He's the president of the United States.
Wait, pause it.
Democrats.
Oh, hold on. This isn't about.
Go ahead. Yeah. So the perfect response Tulsi can give is, "Oh, so you're just as good as Joe Biden." He walked right into it. I'm not sure what she's going to do, but.
Well, and the thing is, look, we all know Joe Biden is a professional liar. How he's been in office and he's convinced a lot of blind and lacking critical thinking, vote blue no matter who people that think that, oh, somehow he's better. No, he's not, folks. He is not. But, the thing is, when you have to say Joe Biden's a liar, dude, it's the pot calling the kettle black because you're also a liar, too.
Oh, resoundingly support him. Do they have no shame? I've made this very clear.
This is not about the Democratic Party, though. This is about your relationship, frankly, with the people who've entrusted you to go and fight for them. And I think one of the questions that really probably hits home.
By the way, folks, look, in a rare moment where I have to say, oh, wow, Goldman Sachs and Citigroup have to do the right thing. Because remember, he also, as it stands right now, has said that he worked for financial giants, Goldman Sachs and Citigroup, right? But both firms, Goldman Sachs and Citigroup, has said they have no record that they have employed good old Georgie Santos here. Now, the thing is, let's be very clear here. Goldman Sachs and Citigroup, they're two large financial institutions, and we all know they like to buy off politicians. But when you tee them off so much, it tells me that, well, 1, you're a screw up, and 2, you're lying about them, and then 3, they have a record book of who they have with them. If they say they never had you before, in a rare moment where I have to say, okay, Goldman Sachs and Citigroup, you're making some points. He lied, and he's admitting that he's lied.
By the way, I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to nail down in the shortest amount of time his face, and I think I have it now. He's smugnorant.
You know what he is? He is the cheap, rejected clone of Little Boy Rubio.
To a lot of people is are you Jewish? We've got a letter that your campaign sent out earlier this year, which reads as follows. As a proud American Jew, I've been to Israel numerous times for educational, business, and leisurely trips. You said there in that letter that you are, quote, a proud American Jew. How do you explain that?
My heritage is Jewish. I've always identified as Jewish. I was raised a practicing Catholic. I think I've gone through this.
That's not. Look, I'm not Jewish, and even I know that's not kind of how. Dan, why don't you take the mic? You're a little bit of a residential expert on this.
I mean, sort of. I don't know. I feel like I don't even have to explain how dumb this is. It's like, oh yes. I feel like if I even say anything, I will lower myself to a level of stupidity to even try and explain how stupid this is. It's like, oh yeah, I've always identified with a group that I've never practiced. I personally identify as an Army general.
Ah, okay. Well, I you know what I identify? I identify myself as a Lord Commander of the Imperium. There you go.
I'm not being raised a practicing Jew. I've always joked with friends and circles, even in the campaign, I'd say, guys, I'm Jewish. Remember, I was raised Catholic. So look, I understand everybody wants to nitpick at me. I'm going to reassure this once and for all. I'm not a facade. I'm not a persona. I have an extensive career that I worked really hard to achieve, and I'm going to deliver from my experience because I remain committed in delivering results for the American people. I campaigned on inflation. I campaigned on crime. I campaigned on
the Fox
education.
News
I
banner
campaigned on
they always
delivering
do.
resolve for the American people. That's what the people of the 3rd Congressional District heard me on and on.
I like that. George Santos. I'm not Jewish. I'm Jew-ish. There's a hyphen, a dash right there. That's brilliant.
As I
This
campaigned.
is both very funny and very cringe. I'm enjoying it.
It is. And the thing is, like, he's literally what he's doing. He's crapping in his hand, smearing it on his face, and saying, "Look,
Chocolate.
chocolate right here.
It's chocolate-ish. It's chocolate adjacent that's on my face."
What is this? Is this corn right here?
It has the same basic atomic components. Basically the same thing. I should sell the stuff that's on my face. And someone said in chat earlier that he looks like a beagle, and I think that's sort of what I'm noticing too.
No offense to the beagles out there.
To be incumbent upon me to deliver on those results,
puberty.
and I look forward to servicing
exactly
and serving my district. I look forward to serving my people in my district to make sure that they see that this is what
looking for. The results that people are looking for are called into question when you tell blatant lies, not embellishments. And this is, I think, one of the biggest concerns, Congressman-elect, is that you don't really seem to be taking this seriously. You've apologized. You said you've made mistakes, but you've outright lied. A lie is not an embellishment on a resume. You said you worked at Goldman Sachs and Citigroup, but they've said, we've got no record of this guy working for us. You've said you've gone to and graduated from these universities, but they've said, well, we've got no record of that. These are blatant lies, and it calls into question how your constituents and the American people can believe anything that you may say when you are standing on the floor of the House of Representatives.
And let's be very clear here, because this is how you know that he's angered the oligarchs, right, in our system that we have. Goldman Sachs and Citigroup can buy any politician. The fact that they have given this guy the kiss of death, and also the fact that he's lied about what colleges he went to, it should tell you that he is already dismissed. When the system wants to remove somebody out of power or out of office, this guy is a liar. He's a fraud, and he just farted on by without people thinking that they wouldn't pay attention to him. And most likely he's embarrassed the establishment as it is. So he's going to be excommunicated.
Anytime you pause, his face looks even more funny.
Yeah, that's not on purpose. But Georgie, if you like to explain what you got wrong, come on to Highlands Media. You know, I think I'll reach out to him and say, like, hey, Georgie, come on to our show.
Supposedly fighting for them. That's the real issue here.
Well, look, I agree with what you're saying, and as I stated, and I continue, we can debate my resume and how I worked with firms such as Goldman
Is
Sachs,
it debatable, or is it just false?
No,
is it debatable, or is it just false?
By the way, pause just one more second.
No, it's not false at all.
I just got to point out that I'm just realizing this second. Tulsi is going harder against someone on the same electoral party, but she's on Fox News. I'm trying to say Fox News with Republicans, than I think I've ever seen CNN or MSNBC go after any Democrat that wasn't named Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, exactly. Which is very interesting to me. But I like I said, this is a chef's kiss, because I love this. I love this. I truly do. This is magnifique for me.
It's weird because it does feel sort of weird that a major publication is going after a member of their own aligned party, and I think that might be worth something, at least, to think about.
It is, truly.
I think it might be because of what you said. He just pissed off Citigroup, and they're really upset about that.
Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, and also associate himself with higher tier colleges.
No, he's like, I never meant I worked at Goldman Sachs. I just meant I had gold on my man sacks. That's all I ever meant.
And by gold,
what do you think I meant? I worked at Citigroup. I meant I worked at a group of people in the city. It's so straightforward. I don't get why it's a big issue.
I can sit down and explain to you what you can do in private equity, in capital intro, via servicing limited partners and general partners. And we can have this discussion that's going to go way above the American people's head.
You know, Tulsi's looking at him like thinking, just remember, I ripped apart Kamala Harris was just my pinky finger. I'm using 1% of my power on you. It's like that cliche line you see in an anime.
But that's not what I
at the end of
campaigned
the day,
on. I
look,
campaigned on.
I'm
Go.
not going to be happy. I'm not happy that Tulsi's on Tucker as a more common occurring, even if she takes over, just because it sort of goes on what I thought she was a while back. But if she does go on Fox News and calls out Fox News Republicans, that's better than anyone else on Fox News.
Oh, wow. And hold on. Roger Meadows, he gave us a message. So I want to put this in here when I play the rest of the video here, too. Kit, that guy is in the neighboring congressional district above me. He's not dumb. He thought the voters were dumb. That's a district Tom's Susie Sozini had till he ran for governor. Very, very wealthy area. If you remember the famous country club scene from DiCaprio's Wolf of Wall Street, where he just thought he was just an expert driver till Brooksville Police Department showed up at his doormat. Country club is in his district. Wow.
Also,
that's great.
Just
that
to
is
perfectly
hilarious.
go with that comment, can you push this back about 10 seconds?
Yeah, I got you.
Because he literally says the American people are stupid when it comes to finance. You'll hear it.
Hold on.
I can sit down and explain to you what you can do in private equity, in capital intro, via servicing limited partners and general partners. And we can have this discussion that's going to go way above the American people's head. But that's not
There
what
it
I
is.
campaigned on.
Oh, you little fucker.
On delivering results
Wow.
for the American people by lowering inflation. I can sit down, and if you want to have that discussion, I'd be glad to, Tulsi, to explain that to you and make sure that we settle the score.
She's like, no.
This is not about settling scores. And I think you just kind of highlighted, I think, my concern, the concern that people at home have. You're saying that this discussion will go way above the heads of the American people, basically insulting their intelligence. So not only are you now backtracking
that's not
on
what
these
I'm
lies
saying.
that you've told,
I'm so glad that she said that too.
But
That's
Tulsi,
you're
good.
saying that you can't
that's not what
explain
I'm
it in
saying.
a way that your constituents would actually be able to
I
understand.
can explain it in a way
and that
if you
these
give me
lies are
if you give me
debatable.
the time. I can easily give.
Well, that's all the time we have. We got to sell Boeing stock.
As in, when investors are looking for capital, and I'm sitting there doing due diligence on the appetite and what they're looking for, right? And we work alongside GPs and LPs to help them place this capital. This is what I was doing, and that's when I.
But they said that you didn't work for them. That's the thing.
Worked extensively with these firms and many other firms.
Oh,
at the
pause
time
it.
as I was
Pause
the
it. It'd
vice
be really
president.
funny if, like, Tulsi had like a very specific equity structure analysis question, and he's like, "I don't get it."
Of Linkbridge investors. So this isn't the made up narrative, but I feel like nobody really wants to sit down and talk about it. Everybody just wants to push me and call me a liar. Look, I embellished my
Congressman-elect
resume.
Santos.
You embellish, which means you lied. That's the definition. All right, Daniel, I want to give you the final word for this story.
Well, I've never been happy about Tulsi going on Fox News for a lot of reasons I've said in previous shows.
Mm-hmm.
My thought was always she's the person that is one of the most anti-war, not fully, but one of the most in Congress, which again says, I think, a lot more about the rest of Congress than even her. But if this is the kind of thing we're going to get, she's going to call out people in the party. That's better than I expected, and it's not a lot I can do to control her going on there or not. I do think she really did pretty expertly with using 1% of her power. Pretty easily just took them apart.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the guy's an elected representative. What's he doing talking about raising private equity money?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, dude, you're already digging your own grave. But it's very interesting to see how he, made himself look like a fool in front of the American people. And again, just remember, if you think that he is a rarity, there are far more professional liars in Washington, D.C. They go by the names of Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., Barack Obama. We got, Chucky Boy Schumer. We got, again, Lindsey Graham Cracker and the rest of the Democratic and Republican establishment. I mean, that's the thing. Like, he is not the exception. He is actually the rule. But what we're seeing here is a politician squirm in 4K. There you go.
Also, I think this will be maybe a good note to end on, unless you have something else to say. I'm going to quote from chat. from Guacamole Kid, who I think has maybe the best response to all of this. He'll fit right in.
Yeah. And we'll leave it at that.